Hey everybody, it's Eric from epautos.com, your libertarian car guy. I don't generally do these outside walk-arounds of the cars that I review because I've got a crappy camera. My production values are pretty poor, and so I generally leave that to others and simply comment about other things. But anyway, I wanted to show you this 25 Hyundai Ioniq 5 EV because it's the first EV that I'm aware of that has an off-road iteration, which is the one you're looking at here, and you'll see kind of the unpainted or carbon fiber looking-ish body cladding on the side of it. You probably can't tell from looking at it. It's got a slightly lifted suspension and it's got some tow hooks, but the more interesting thing to me is the whole concept of an off-road EV, in that you tend not to find gas stations, or I should say fast charging stations, off-road, which presents its own unique set of issues. Maybe they should put a survival kit in these things in case you do run out of a charge. Okay, that was a kind of a mean joke. But, the truth is this thing has a range of, what is it, about, I can't remember the exact number, but it's somewhere on the order of 250-ish miles fully charged, which isn't a whole hell of a lot of range. I'm going to power this thing up right now just so I can see what the range is before I start driving. When they dropped it off yesterday, it had about 200 miles of indicated range remaining out of the 240. So let's see where we are now. All right, so it's booting up. Turn down the volume. It says 78% charge. And how many miles have we got here? Of 194 miles. So, roughly speaking, it shed about 6 miles of range overnight because I did not plug it in, and I'll get to that in a minute about the plug. Because I was curious just to see, because I think it's relevant. I'm able to plug the thing in because I do have a garage and I've got another place where I can plug in an EV at home. But obviously, if you live in an apartment, or if you have to park on the street or curbside or whatever, you're going to have difficulty plugging in. A lot of people think you can use an extension cord to reach, but you can't because the gauge of those things isn't correct. The cord that they provide you with is a pretty heavy gauge cord, and it's designed to be used without an extension cord. So you're limited to, they're generally speaking about 12 feet, 10, 12 feet, something like that. So in other words, they're designed to be used in a garage or adjacent to a garage or an outbuilding or something like that. So again, it's relevant because if you have an EV and you're not able to keep the thing plugged in overnight, you're going to be dealing with this issue that amounts to kind of having a pinhole leak in the gas tank if you had a non-electric car. You're losing a little bit of fuel over time. Now, it wasn't that significant today because it is not that cold outside. It's 49 degrees here in Southwest Virginia today. Now, I can tell you, and I'm not saying that it's going to happen with this car, but with other EVs that I have had in the past, on very cold days, a couple of months from now, 3 months from now, it might be 12 degrees outside. And in that case, you might find that you lose considerably more than about 6 miles of driving range overnight. And the reason for that has to do with the fact that electric car batteries have thermal management systems, and they are designed to keep the battery from getting too cold, because if it gets too cold, you can't charge it. And you can also potentially damage it. So, it's got the thermal management system. But thermal management system, getting back to the laws of thermodynamics, there's no such thing as a free lunch. They burn power. So it's using the battery to power the thermal management system if the vehicle's not plugged in. So, potentially if you say left the vehicle with, 150 miles and you had you thinking, okay, well, I only have to go 60 miles the following day, and you wake up and you find out that overnight it's lost 30 miles of driving range, which absolutely can happen. I've had that happen on very cold days. Now you got a real problem. You can't risk potentially going out, and because if you run out of charge on a day when it's 11 degrees, you're going to kind of be in a pinch. Anyway, let's see what happens. I'm going to take this thing down into Roanoke and back. We'll see how many miles I burn through. The odometer reads 4,608 miles. That's my starting point. So I will do a second video when I get back, to give you the real-world comparison of the indicated range remaining and the versus the driving range, so we can get some sense of how accurate these estimates are. So more coming soon. If you're interested in my latest article about the all new Tesla Model 3, you can check that out over at epautos.com. I'll also be posting later today the interview I did with Gard Goldsmith last night on his Liberty podcast, which I hope you'll find entertaining and perhaps even a little bit informative, and we'll catch up with you again soon.